I love you. Welcome back to the Couch Potatoes. Always happy to have you here. I am the Green Traveler from Gorsh, and I was the best pitcher in my T-ball league.
Wow. In your T-ball league?
I figure it's a sports drama episode today. I should throw out a good, inspiring fact about my sports life.
Uh-huh. The best pitcher in the T-ball league.
In the T-ball league, that's right, yeah.
All right. I am the Faceless Leone, and I started my first game. Was our first game as a freshman team. I started as center, and that was also the last game I played center. So, yeah.
Way too many sacked quarterbacks, huh?
I guess. So the guy that I was supposed to be blocking. I mean, so I didn't grow up playing the game, at least not in a formation type deal where you run plays and stuff. Backyard, tag football, is what we did. And who cared about the rules? We were kids just having fun. You get out there and they expect you to know all this stuff, but I'm not a sports guy. I really am not. I'm just a big guy. And and sure, I've watched it on TV, but I never got into it. I watched it because it was on, because my dad is a sports nut. Anyhow, I knocked the guy that was in front of me on the ground every single play. But of course, he was a good foot and a half smaller than me. Probably shouldn't have been a lineman. And I didn't know what to do after that point, so I went and found another person to push. And I think I was just leaving holes open, and I think I was not doing great. But.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I don't know shit about football, but we'll talk about that second. Because first we're going to talk Ali, which is boxing, and I ain't ever boxed a day in my life.
I have punched some bags.
I've punched somebody. Out of self-defense, but that was it.
That was my dad had an old school view on that sort of thing. Kids beat each other up on the playground. My mother was the opposite direction. So when she got wind of this, it was not pretty. That was the real fight. Was that? So
no one was prepared for that battle.
So I think we should talk a little bit about what we're doing here.
Yes, we should.
It is, as many know in this nation, Black History Month. I think it's important to prop up and examine and appreciate Black culture and history.
Right.
But I feel like we do a pretty good job as a show of making that happen on a regular basis.
We try.
I think so. And if we could do a better job, let us know. We want to do better. Anyhow, here we are. We're doing some sports history this time around.
I just wanted to jump off of what you were saying, though. That, for me, it's where it comes from, where my fear of doing multiple, last year, as you said, we did, I think 2 or 3 episodes on Black History, for Black History Month, that is. And that's great, and I would love to keep doing that. It's when I listen back to it, I hear the underlying ignorant racism in myself,
right?
And it makes me really mad at myself, and I'm just why the fuck did I say that, or why the fuck would I say that,
right?
And because I mean, when you're improving, which is what we do, none of this is scripted. I don't know how obvious that is, but when it's improv, though, your brain kind of does just shut off, and you just talk and you talk.
Right.
And I don't know, it's a worry of mine because I'm always trying to be better, and I always want to be more of a supporter and an ally, or a better one at least.
Yeah.
But I'm an ignorant individual, and I'm not gonna be like a person who says I'm not racist, because I try not to be racist. but
right,
I was born white.
I will say, like, it's ingrained prejudice, I think, is more of what it is. Because I think racism implies a feeling of superiority and hatred.
That's fair.
So
That's fair.
I don't think you have
that. It's especially not implied. That's the thing. It's like I always, I guess it's just blindness.
Yeah, it's blind.
You know, it's like I've been blind. I've been blind to how I've been raised. I've been blind to how I think, how I speak, and so it's I don't know. It's always important to push ourselves. And I'm happy that you talked me into doing this episode because the reason we're doing the 3 movies we're doing is there was a movie came out last year called King Richard, starring Will Smith. I wanted to see it. It was hard to find. And we finally, it's finally rentable. And so we were going to do it in January. I was like, hey, I want to do King Richard. And we had an open January spot. And you're like, well, that would work if we pushed that back for Black History Month. And I was just like, oh, man, I don't. Right. I got scared about it. But then I'm happy you pushed me. But what we've decided to do is we looked at Will Smith. And I was like, hey, I haven't seen Ali since I was a kid.
Right.
And I was like, let's kind of watch Ali again. You were like, well, is there a third Will Smith sports movie out there? And I was like, there damn sure is. It's called Concussion. And so we tacked that on. I never seen Concussion, so I'm happy with what we did.
I did and actually enjoy all 3 of these flicks. I'll say that. And I guess we're going to talk about Ali.
I enjoyed 2 of them.
I do want to say that Concussion is more of a sports history movie than it is and medicine history. The character is a hero, really, and we'll talk more about Dr. Bennett Omalu when we get there. But I feel like it's a little bit more outside of, I think, what we were maybe going for, but whatever.
I think it still works because the weird thing about these 3 films is they're all sports dramas, but the only one that is your traditional textbook sports drama that follows most of the beats you would expect in a sports drama is Concussion.
Yeah.
Because Ali is more biopic and King Richard is more also biopic in a way. Yeah. More focused biopic. It's just 10 years. But it's I guess Ali is only 10 years too.
Yeah. People do a lot of growing in 10 years.
King Richard is only like 4 or 5 years, isn't it? It's not that long. Okay. Okay. But yeah, Ali only focused on like 10 years of Ali's life. But it's very weird because when I watched Concussion, I was not expecting it to be the one that was textbook.
Right.
It really was.
It does kind of have that arc, but I mean, we'll talk. I think because it is history, we should talk about its ending because we
I agree with you.
But anyways, we're gonna do in chronological order that these movies were released. We're gonna talk about Ali, Will Smith playing Muhammad Ali, the famous boxer, world champ.
Yeah, way back in 2001. It's directed by Michael Mann, who is more famous for Heat, Robert De Niro, Al Pacino.
Heat?
Well, actually not Robert De Niro. Heat, yeah, Heat. Very good movie. And Collateral, with Jamie Foxx and Tom Cruise. I'm not sure about that one, but that's a great one. I like Collateral a lot. Heat, a lot of people love. I've watched it once, haven't returned to it in a while. I should, redo that. But it's also it's co-written by Michael Mann and Eric Roth, who wrote Curious Case of Benjamin Button. So that's kind of fun. And some other people. There are like 2 or 3 other people involved in the writing of this, but it's whatever. Those were the 2 that I remembered. But yeah, we have Will Smith as Ali, and this goes from years, I think, like 1965 to 1975. I can't remember, but you have him at the very beginning of his career, winning was it the heavyweight champ or lightweight? Which one was it? He became the heavyweight champ of the world, right?
Oh, yeah, he's the heavyweight. Ali was,
right. Yeah, I can't remember who he beat first, but he takes the title.
Good
and
question.
from there spins this story, which focuses on Muhammad's, or I guess I should say, it focuses on Ali's exploration of Islam.
Yes,
his friendship with Malcolm X, or at least his brief encounters with Malcolm X.
Right, they do make it play it off that they were pretty buddy before he was before Malcolm X was essentially excommunicated from the Nation of Islam.
Right,
but
and here Malcolm X is played by Mario Van Peebles.
Oh yes,
and I really enjoyed his performance as Malcolm X. Nowhere near Denzel Washington's, but still really good.
Still, yes, very good. I was
really surprised by all the people I recognized in this movie.
Yeah, but the characters, is that what you mean? Like the real life?
I mean the people too.
Yeah.
So like Jeffrey Wright's in it. He plays Howard Bingham.
Yes. Yeah, I was surprised by him. And Cassius Clay Sr., Gino Carlo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Esposito. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the crazy thing. Way back as a kid, I had a huge love for Will Smith, mainly because of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh,
I really love Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and because of that, I loved Will Smith. I listened to his raps, which are hilarious, and in my opinion, they still hold up. They're still fun. But I really just loved him, and so when Ali came out, I remembered I had like somehow tried to sneak this and watch this. I don't think there was much interest in my household to watch biopics. I feel like that was one that really would send my dad to sleep in like 10 minutes.
Dude, I've watched movies with your dad.
Yeah.
I've witnessed it.
He passes out quick. And like it's hilarious too, because it's like you have to judge the volume on the TV too, because it's just like he'll pass out and he's got a loud snore, so it's like, all right, I gotta turn it up, but I don't want to turn it up enough that it's gonna wake him up, because then he'll be upset by that.
Turn it down, guys. Jeez. You were watching this movie too.
Yeah. It also has Jamie Foxx in it.
Yes, right. Yes,
as his manager or like a coach in a way.
It's not
a manager.
I don't know like the traditions of boxing, but he's in his corner. Yeah. He talks him up, and his character
he's his cheerleader.
Drew Bundini Brown. He went by Bundini.
Yeah,
rhymes with Houdini.
It's just it's crazy because like again, I watched it as a kid, and when I came back to this movie, pretty much all of these actors but Will Smith, I thought I had a later introduction to, because it's like Giancarlo Esposito. Totally thought Breaking Bad was the first time I'd ever seen that guy.
For sure. I hadn't seen this
and immediately fell in love with him.
So it was kind of... because the same thing with Jeffrey Wright. Like, I didn't know him until Westworld, really.
Same.
And so going back and watching this movie, it's like, all these people were there the whole time. I just didn't pull them out of the woodwork. All these good people.
That was the thing. I feel like I've seen them in a lot of stuff, but I never recognized or remembered them until they had their like big performance that solidified them in my mind. Plus, also, I started studying film and television around the time of Breaking Bad, and Westworld also, I guess, because that was near my post-college days.
Yeah.
So it's like it makes sense that I wouldn't start picking up on these people until I started studying the stuff. Right. But yeah, it was a good eye opener to come back to Ali and just be like, what? Like, that's Giancarlo Esposito. What are you doing here? But it's a very fascinating movie, where you just follow the life of Ali. You follow him. As I said, he explores Islam. He is during his during his boxing days. Which war was it? Was that would have been...
It was Vietnam.
Vietnam. Yeah. He was drafted, and because of his religion, he was like, I can't do this. I can't go fight your war because of my religion. And also as he's mentioned in interviews, he's just like, people of Asian cultures haven't done anything against me. He's like, my own attacks, everything that I'm experiencing that is negative in my life is coming from my own country.
Right.
And the people around me. So he's just like, why would I go fight a war for this? And like, it explores all those moral choices that he makes, and kind of, I don't know, I like, it's gonna be so unpatriotic of me, but I agree with every fucking thing that he fought for.
Yes, every time he made a stance, I was like, fuck yeah, dude. I loved it. I thought this movie really made me realize how much of a public figure he really was. Like, he wasn't just an athlete. He was the people's champion. Like, that's, I feel like what this movie was really trying to say too. Like, they goddamn fucking nailed it in your head a couple times. And like in this, times with that. There's like this, I don't know, some kind of council or briefing called about his boxing license, and the guy who is like doing the judge type role asks him, refusing to fight for the American people is something that the world champion would do, the people's champion would do. And he's like, yes, I do. And he said, and this is not a courtroom, so I'm leaving. And me and Sarah both like, it's not a courtroom. I really, like, it really, I just thought he was at court. I thought this was the part, like, where his license or whatever got revoked, which I guess maybe it did, but it's a weird thing, because after that he couldn't fight in these areas anymore. He had to, like, if there was a fight, it had to be outside of the country or in a city that didn't need those requirements. So he had, I think he had to travel to Atlanta once to fight. He went to Georgia because there's no boxing committee in Georgia, at least at that time. Right. And and it's the whole time he's basically waiting to hear if he has to go to prison or not. Like, he's got these court dates lined up, I'm sure, and they keep on losing, and they keep on appealing, and eventually he just loses all his money because of all these court fees, and they don't let him box, which is the way he makes money. So
it's what he's good
it's
at.
A really, and it was really just a shitty attack from the white people in charge, basically. Also, the way that he was drafted was kind of suspicious, at least in the film. It was.
Yeah, definitely. It seemed more pointed.
Right, because initially when he went to get tested, because I guess you got to get a physical or whatever, they flunked him. Right,
you got to...
And then after he becomes a world famous boxer, who is also a Muslim.
Vocal.
Yeah, and vocal. All of a sudden, he is fit A1, or whatever that means. Maybe we should know. It's still, they can still call the draft if they want to, so maybe we should know that kind of shit.
I was gonna say, like, I have been tested 4F, as Mash puts it, foul. I have, well, I mean, it's just because if you've had like a history of depression or like mental, like what they call mental illnesses, if you have a history of that, they don't want you serving in a war atmosphere, because clearly you might not be stable enough to handle a war atmosphere.
That is fair. I don't recall ever getting a test for that. I don't know.
They wanted me bad. They really wanted me bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they birthed me in their fucking Area 51 area. Of course, they wanted to keep me in the government, but
yeah, they didn't.
No, I mean, it's just it's more just because of my.
I don't understand.
Yeah. You just elicit fear in people. If they need to like scare a town, it's just like, look at this faceless creature.
Yeah, but so then why not the army? Are you trying to say that our army are pacifiers? Too. Oh, I would scare the troops. I would scare the troops.
Troops wouldn't want to fight with you. They'd be fighting themselves, because it's just like, I think we should kill this thing. It makes no sense. And
so you think they would be more afraid of me than Dr. Manhattan?
That's a good point. Well, I think with Manhattan, it's more of like an intimidation thing where he puts them in their place with his giant swinging blue dick.
Yeah, of course.
So like they don't Yeah, they're terrified of him, but they'll follow him in the battle because anybody who's willing to walk nude like that, they're just like,
that is like, brave.
That's bravery right there. Follow his ass in a battle any day.
Hey, he's the color of freedom right there.
Paint some red stripes and some white stars on him. Oh God!
Imagine if they had done that to Dr. Manhattan. Watchmen.
Yep. But with Ali, I mean, there's not much to say if you don't know the story of Ali. Obviously, you should go out and watch this movie. It does a pretty good job. At least, yeah. I mean, again, it's a very small period of his life, but it's the peak of his life. You know, it's the big moments where he was the biggest name that he could possibly have been, and it follows his winning of the heavyweight title to his recapturing of the heavyweight title after it was ripped from him because he couldn't fight anymore. And it's very fascinating. It's really Will Smith is really well done in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Let me reword that. Will Smith is an amazing actor in this film because it's like you can tell he gained weight for the role.
Yeah.
You can tell he put on some good muscle. The boxing scenes, which are the scenes I like the most, because I like a good boxing film. I don't watch boxing, but I love boxing movies, and
it's the art of
that's
the
where this film shined for me was the fight scenes, because one, they had real boxers fighting him. So like the guys who were playing all these famous boxers of the day were boxers of the time period in 2001. So like I don't know if they're still active boxers, but they were at least boxers themselves. And basically they were told to actually hit Will Smith, just don't knock him out. So like you know those fights though, they're really good because they were real, because it was actually, you know, he's actually in the ring, he's doing the if you never watched Ali fight ever, first off, go out and watch an Ali boxing fight. There's plenty of them on YouTube. He was amazing to watch in the ring. I loved Ali as a kid. Because like he has that famous saying, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Yeah. And it was 100% fucking true with how he fought, because his feet, he was just so light on his feet.
Right.
Just dancing around the ring, and he would just tire his opponents out. And once they were tired out, then he would go in and just like throw in all the punches in it. It was amazing to watch. It was always just a powerhouse.
It was just so great game fast. And like, you know, I knew ahead of time that he was still the champ through this period. So I'm sorry to ruin any of the suspension in the movie.
To get into closing statements.
Yeah, I think so.
I really like this movie. It's a good biopic. It's not great when they're not in the ring. It does get a little dry. It does get a little stale, a little boring. Even though I enjoy the exploration that they're doing, and they're doing, you know, they're doing justice to the story of his life. They're not doing justice to the epicness of his life, like the legend. They're not doing the legend of his life justice. They're just kind of like telling it, and it's kind of boring after, you know.
What?
But the fight scenes are amazing, and one thing that I really fucking love, aside from Will Smith, the best part about this entire film. He did a great job.
Oh, I love
but
Jamie
another
Foxx
individual, I do like Jamie Foxx, but the two people who were nominated for this movie were Will Smith, nominated for Best Actor. He sadly lost to Denzel Washington for Training Day, but he was nominated. The other one who was nominated, I don't know if he won or not, was Jon Voight. Jon Voight's in this film.
Yeah, it does not look like Jon Voight.
It doesn't. It took me a while to recognize that was him, because I saw his name in the opening credits, and then it took me like maybe 30 to 40 minutes and to be like, oh, that's Jon Voight.
Yeah, they did. They really made him to look up like this guy.
And it's good. He was, I don't remember his name. What is? Let me see. I
believe
might have wrote it down. Howard Cosell.
Yes, I was just about to say
Howard Cosell. He was a television host or something. You know, he covered a lot of sports and news and everything like that.
Yeah, I don't know if he was exclusively boxing, but like they got like a real good relationship. Him and Ali.
Yeah.
On camera,
and that was the nice thing.
On camera, it's like hostile, but behind the camera, they love each other.
That was the nice thing too. Is like I did a tiny bit of research into it because I wanted to make sure they weren't just whitening up this character to make him look nicer. Apparently not. Apparently he was very, good friends in a way with Ali. And the thing I love though is when you see their first meeting in the very beginning of the film, like Ali is very antagonistic to him, and he's like looking under his toupee. He's making this guy look really bad on camera. But then like within like 2 or 3 interviews though, they're both just ragging on each other and they're having a good time. But like, Howard Cosell will say something and then Ali's like, well, you know what? I asked your wife about that. I just fucking loved it. It was well done. I enjoyed. I give the movie 3 stars overall. I really enjoyed the boxing scenes most, and I enjoyed the exploration of the character. I think they just could have made it a little more. I mean, bombastic seems wrong, but they I don't know. They needed more oomph to the legend of the story.
So
of this man.
I don't know that I really agree with that, but when you say that, I know you guys can hear my dog barking back there. I don't know if I should get up and try to help, but I've also lost my train of thought again.
You disagree with what I'm saying about the umph.
So not necessarily the umph, but you said that for you found the scenes in between the fighting kind of boring. For me, that was the really interesting part. Like, it might just because I really am interested and curious about the history of the Nation of Islam in general. Honestly, all religions interest me, but I feel like I am fairly familiar with the Nation of Islam because I've watched that Spike Lee movie so many times. So him interacting, being Ali, with those characters that I'm already familiar with was really interesting. It was like watching that Spike Lee movie from a different angle is what it felt like in the beginning. It definitely loses that feel halfway through.
Yeah. I can agree with you, and I think that's why it bored me, was because it just felt like a lesser version of the Spike Lee film.
I see. I felt that it was even just though you're trying seeing it to from say something different with it.
Yeah. But I mean, that's the thing, is it didn't feel like it was saying anything different. It felt like it was very much the exact same. It's just, whereas Malcolm X was excommunicated from them, Muhammad Ali got, closer into it, or closer involved.
Yeah, I think,
a slight bit.
Yes,
very slight bit.
I think I this is something that I meant to research. Like, I wanted to know how long he stuck with them, or if he did so for the remainder, of his life. Now that I think about it, is he still with us? I thought he did pass away.
No, I think Muhammad Ali passed away.
Okay,
but his daughter Layla Ali is also a badass in the ring. And if you're gonna go out and check out a boxing match of Muhammad Ali, you might as well check out a boxing match of Layla Ali too, because she's just as fun to watch.
Wonderful. So I don't know. I really enjoyed, like I said, him interacting with those characters, and I thought that really what I wanted was more of that from this movie. So I give it a full face. I think I'd watch it again. I thought the brief interaction with all his wives was interesting. And I think it was important to show that part of his character if you're going to do a true biopic about him.
Right.
One of them the first one being Jada Pinkett Smith, which that was kind of funny for him to be
Yeah.
I mean, if he's gonna have 3 wives in the movie, one of them might as well be his wife.
And in real life too, right?
Yeah. So
Will
I
Smith
thought this
into polygamy,
and with Ali being divorced and married so long, I felt like that was something that was very frowned upon in the Nation of Islam, and I just don't know.
Yeah.
So I feel like after they suspended him for a short period of time, and then all of a sudden decided it was cool if he came back in because he won a fight. I don't know. It was weird how that was played out.
Yeah.
It seemed like he let them stay and keep on managing him, namely being Herbert Muhammad, played by Barry Shabaka Henley. He manages him throughout the movie, but he's the son of Elijah Muhammad. So
right.
He is very close, but I feel like it is more like Muhammad Ali is Herbert's project, whereas Elijah Muhammad is the one who gave him the name Muhammad Ali as well. So there is that closeness.
I didn't know that. So that was pretty cool.
I didn't know that either until the movie. There is that closeness there for him and the Nation, but I feel like after they did that to him, because as he said, he never stopped being a Muslim, even though they told him he wasn't allowed to practice. So I think that really is what I have left to say about the film, is that I found the actual historical things going on around in this movie very interesting. And I think that they did a good portion of that while still making it a good boxing movie. Like, you gave it 3 stars. I gave it a full face. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's definitely recommendable. I do want to say also, just because we mentioned when he got when he got his name of Muhammad Ali, I did want to say that I thought it was really cool in the movie. Howard Cosell has a moment when they're in an interview and he calls him Cassius, and he's like, "That is not my name. You know, my name is Muhammad Ali. This is the reason I'm not using that name anymore. Right. Please call me by Muhammad." And Howard Cosell, to give the man credit, I didn't research this, so I don't know if this was true or not. I think it is, but he, in the movie at least, he was just like, "You're right. I'm so sorry. I used the wrong name. I will refer to you as Muhammad from now on." And that's just how it is. That's how easy it is, people. Mm-hmm. If you have, and it's not, it's not a transgender message presented in the movie, right? But in the real world, transgender people, if they ask you to call them by a different name, it really is not that fucking hard to just go with the flow. It
is the same thing as if somebody changes their name for religious or other reasons. It's the same thing. It is what their heart has decided to do, and just respect it.
Yeah, and I love that scene in the movie where Howard is just like, "I am sorry, you're right. You're 100% right. I'm being wrong here." Mm-hmm. And I was just like, boom, good job. But let's move on. But first, let's take a soda pop break, right?
Soda pop break, indeed. And I'm going to try to get my dog to be quiet. All right, be back. Garlic. Do you need something to distract you? What?
Oh, what happened?
I farted.
Oh, gotcha. While you were away, I read something terrifying on the news.
Oh, no.
Hamsters' testicles shrink after being infected with COVID.
And welcome back.
Let's talk some football. Let's first off, here's my history with football. I am the least
footballiest football.
Yeah, so it's like when it comes to what society deems as an American male, it's all about cars and football and trackers and shit like that. I don't know any of that shit.
At least where we were from.
Yeah, at least where we're from, that's right. I'm very much, I was not into football. I watched baseball when I was a kid. And around the Peyton Manning days of the Indianapolis Colts, I started watching football. And I got into it, man. For about 2 or 3 years. Yeah, I was real into it. I remember I watched, there was the last football game I remember watching. I remember I got really pissed. I was screaming at the team. I was just like, what's wrong with you? Can't you score a touchdown? And then I had a moment of like, why do I care this much? And I stopped watching football after that. And it's just, it wasn't worth getting angry at. It wasn't worth, I don't fucking care. I'm baseball. I decided then and there, baseball is the only sport I'm going to pay attention to. And I started kind of watching some cricket matches because that's kind of interesting. But
that is an interesting sport. I mean,
yeah,
there's just so many strange rules.
There's a lot to it.
What is there, like 58 different ways to get out or something like that?
I can't remember. Honestly, it's kind of like watching
I had Stephen Fry explain
hockey
it to me once.
Yeah. I think I watched that same thing. Yeah. But it's like hockey and soccer for me. I don't entirely understand all the rules.
Right.
Boy, is it entertaining to watch.
Yeah. We used to go.
I'm not into those games.
Used to go to the Comics hockey game in Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
It was fun to watch. Did I care how the team did outside of the times that I went? Not at all.
Right.
Not at all.
Right.
So why do sports movies?
Why do sports? I mean, I like sports movies. That's the
thing.
There's certain great ones.
Yeah, there's an empowerment to it. Even when you're not an athletic person, you feel the power of the triumphs in them.
Yeah, it's very much. I mean, a lot of the ones I like, at least, are David Goliath. Sports films.
Underdogs. Yeah.
So it's like, yeah. And that is the case of Concussion. So Concussion is very much like a David versus Goliath sports film, except it's not about the athlete, it's about the doctor working behind the scenes. And he's not even working with the NFL.
No.
He's just he's a mortician?
Coroner, I think.
Coroner.
Yes,
okay.
Because mortician, I think, is the ones who dress the dead for burial.
That's right. Yeah, and we've already mentioned his name. It was Dr. Bennett Omalu. He is a coroner in Pittsburgh, I believe.
Yes. It is the city.
He's from Nigeria.
Steelers, yes.
Yes, he's from Nigeria, and he came to America to work, and he's I think he's teaching too. No, he's not teaching.
I think he's at the beginning of the movie, he's in the middle of getting MBA? I don't remember. Something like that. Yeah. But he's already got like 7 degrees, most in medicine.
Right. Yeah. He's a genius. He's a certifiable genius. And there's an interesting... So this is where I have issues with the film. So he is a Nigerian immigrant, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I think he has his citizenship in this movie. And he comes across another, I think, Nigerian immigrant.
She is from
Prema.
Kenya. She's from
Kenya. Okay,
but they're introduced through their church, who is primarily African immigrants, I believe, from what was shown to us.
So, like, to give this book a shout out, I want to make sure I get I gotta make sure I get the name right. Okay, so it's called Americana. It's by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. And it's about 2 Nigerian individuals. One goes to London, the other goes to America, and it's kind of like that process of growing up in these new countries, and how each of them have their own racist issues and treat individuals not even just racism from whites to blacks, but racism within the black community,
right?
Specifically in America, because that's where most of the focus is, of people, black people born in America versus black people from Africa who came to America. So there's a lot of interculture issues that are happen, and she brings a lot of light to it. It's very, very brilliant novel. I loved it. I wish this movie had done that more. I wish this movie had accepted that not only is Dr. Bennett Amalu being attacked by the NFL for the issues he brought to light that we're going to talk about soon, but he's also being attacked not because he's trying to attack the game to ruin the game, but also because of who he is as a person.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to it.
There's definitely some xenophobia behind what they throw at him. I think moreover, the NFL uses xenophobia to make their decisions about his findings okay.
Right. Yeah. And it bothered me though that this movie seemed like it played it way too safe. So I guess I summarized the first one a bit, so I should let you.
Okay, sure. So we start the movie with Mike Webster, famous Steelers player played by David Morse, giving a speech after being inducted in the Hall of Fame. Shortly after, poor man lost his mind, as they put it in this movie, and ended up abandoning his family, being lost on the streets, getting high, and mutilating himself any way that he can until he dies. And he ends up on Dr. Amalu's table during his shift, and everybody wants him to just put the lid on it and let him rest because he's a city hero.
Right.
But he said, for some reason, this healthy man at the age of 55 lost his mind. I can't just ignore it.
Yeah.
And so he examines all these scans that he's had throughout his life, and nothing shows up. So he decides, since the man is dead, to get these tests on his brain. And he even has to pay for it himself because the state won't pay for it.
Right.
And so they get the tests back, and this poor man's brain is just fried.
It's like mush.
Mush. It's mush, yes. And
I mean, fried works too. It's just it's bad.
It's bad.
It's just bad.
It's bad. And he puts forth a theory towards it after actually watching football with Prima on television. Every time they fire off the line and hit each other, every time they take a hit at all, they are giving themselves a subconcussion.
Right.
And, well, I think what I was about to say comes more into play later in the movie. So he brings these findings to, I think he's a doctor with, I'm not sure who the doctor is that he brings it to.
Yeah, that was the other issue I had with this film, is it really struggles to introduce these characters and what they mean to the NFL world.
Right. They do. Let me see. Yes.
While you're looking that up, I realized we didn't give Prima due notice. Is it to give her the due credit? Prima is played by Gugu Mbatha-Raw, and she's good. Yeah, but her character is relatively overlooked in this entire film, and is only there to be a role of interest.
100% agree. There is a moment where she finally convinces him to move after all the hatred starts. That's about her biggest moment. That's pretty much what they use her for. So that's unfortunate because I'm sure she in real life is a very interesting woman to capture the love of this genius man. So the guy I was looking up is Dr. Stephen Dukowski maybe, played by Eddie Marsan, and he might even just be the head of some kind of medical committee or something. I don't know. But he brings this to them, and they just by looking at what he has know what he's saying is true.
Right.
And but even so, they're like, listen, you have to satisfy the scientific method. I can't remember exactly the burden of proof, I think is what it is. Can't remember the exact term, but you have to prove this. Otherwise you can't say anything. You can't say.
Right. You can't just take the one sole evidence that you have presented to you and declare that football is unsafe.
Right. So suddenly, I say suddenly, but over a very short amount of time, several more football players around the same age die. It's typically by taking their own life or by doing something risky that caused their death.
And that's another part that I like. Obviously, you need that information. You need to see this happen to feel the weight of what's going on. But the parts where they would cut away to the football players who are like talking about, it's like, I think I'm going crazy, or I'm hearing voices,
right? And
then like that stuff was the most uncompelling part of this film because it's like I know those guys are actors and everything, but it just felt so off from the entire rest of the film when they would cut to the football players and they're just going nuts. And I don't know, it was so like ridiculous to me. Just there were a couple scenes where I'm like, I know you think I should be really upset, like, oh my god, this is so horrible, but I'm laughing at these people.
Oh
like,
no,
it's not. It did not carry much weight
for them because, I mean, you know, like I'm very empathetic when I watch anything, and like I'm trying to put.
I mean, it's not.
I'm not saying that you're not. Forgive me.
Yeah. I mean, I am totally scared of mental illness.
Oh, yeah.
That is one of the things that I have a lot of fear of. I'm saying that the way it was presented was not compelling, in my opinion. It was very...
I think what you're saying is fair. A fair critique of what was presented.
It wasn't cinematically done.
No, not really. There was one...
And I think there's a reason for that.
One interaction that I thought was maybe worth mentioning between two players where one had their shit together. They were actually part of NFL leadership, and the other was on the streets trying to get money from him, probably to get drugs.
Yeah.
And then immediately that character went and killed themselves. And then later, that same character who was in the NFL leadership, they ended up getting the same... The disease that is discovered is CTE, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, I can't remember. Concussive something. Yeah. Encephalitis.
It is chronic traumatic encephalopathy.
Encephalopathy.
Yes, encephalopathy.
Yeah, and the guy who had his shit together, as you were saying, that was Dave Dwerson, I believe, who got into politics. I think he was a Chicago mayor. I think he became a Chicago mayor or something. But that he was played by Adewale Akinwumi Agbaje, who we've talked about before, and we love him. And he's good here, but he plays a very obstinate individual in regards to. I
Dr. believe Bennett the Omalu. Other character was Andre Waters, portrayed by Richard T. Jones. So
it is a good scene. I agree. I feel like that's another character they could have done way more with, because he's in like 3 scenes, but he's the catalyst for what happens at the end, I guess, for the final push. So
I see.
It should have been more built before then, because he does something at the end that gets everybody on board in regards to, yes, this is a real thing. And it's just...
Then again, the ending. The ending is this big speech by the doctor, because they finally will hear him at this conference. Yeah. And he says, and basically his sentiment is, I don't hate football. I think there's something beautiful about it. That's why people love it. But the people going into it need to know that it's like 25%. It's really fucking high.
Yeah. It's bad.
There's a very high likelihood that you're going to go crazy later in life. I hate using that term. I'm sorry. You're going to become mentally unstable later in life because of the injuries you will sustain from playing this sport.
I mean, like, literally you're bashing each other's heads like every play.
Yeah.
Not all the players, of course, but
watching
on the
this,
line.
I'm never going to let a child of mine play football.
Right, and that's a big fear that that's presented in this film, is if you present these findings, parents won't have their kids play football. They'll be too scared. Yeah, and you know what? I'm sorry, but I'm okay with saying good riddance. I'm good
with it too. But that's what I'm trying to get at, is at the end of this movie, after that heroic speech, they flash up a card. That's pretty much the end of the movie. They flash up a card saying basically the NFL did absolutely shit about it. They did nothing.
Yeah.
There's
but a shit ton of players sued them.
Yes, a shit ton of players did sue them. And they settled out of court. And part of the condition was that they can't say anything. So, hey, this is some awareness for you guys out there. Football's bad for your health. I think that should be health.
You're going to get us taken down.
I don't care.
They're going to sue us.
I don't care. Go ahead. What are you going to do? I don't have any money.
Sue us. Don't sue us, NFL. We don't have money. Literal prison for us.
Well, go watch Concussion and then, use your own mind to decide what you think about the game. So I give the movie a face, though. I think it's an important watch. I don't think it is as cinematically as good as Ali.
No.
But Will Smith does a smashing job.
That's the thing, is it doesn't feel very cinematic, and I think the reason for that is the director and writer is Peter Landesman. I don't know. Anyways, he was a New York Times writer.
Oh.
And he hasn't done many films. This is the only one of his I've seen. So I feel like if he had just written the script and given it to a big budget director, we might have had something here. There might have been a good connection, gotten some of the cinema of it down. But it really just doesn't come across much as a cinematic film, and it just kind of bored the crap out of me after a while.
I was interested the whole time, but...
Yeah. I like the David and Goliath story, but the only thing that had it for me was Will Smith. He does a great fucking job here.
He does.
And I remember when this film came out, I didn't watch it because I wasn't into football, and I wasn't at the time when the film came out, I wasn't into football, and I was before then. But by then, I was just like, fuck it, I don't care. I know it gives you concussions. Like, I don't, whatever.
That was my opinion. And I was like, okay, yeah, obviously the movie gives you concussion. The show gives you concussion. The game, the movie God gives damn you concussion too. But
it's like, there's a moment though, there was big drama because the Oscars came out. Will Smith got snubbed. He didn't get a nomination for this film. And Jada Pinkett Smith was just like, this is bullshit. Like, he did a great job. He should have gotten nominated. And back then, my thought was, yeah, but it looks like the movie sucks. So, like, If the movie sucks, no matter how good he is, he shouldn't have gotten nominated. Having watched it, I completely disagree with my past self because he did a great fucking job. He did a good job. I loved his performance in this. Yeah, it's a good performance in this. And yeah, he should have been nominated. He didn't get nominated for it, but it's whatever. I give the film though 2.5 stars, and most of those 2.5 stars are from Will Smith because I'm sorry, the acting around him was just not up to par with what he was putting in.
Sure,
it felt like the director had a grasp of what they wanted to do, what Peter Landesman wanted to do. And the only one who was willing to go above and beyond what the director was telling them to do was Will. It seemed like everybody else was just kind of like, all right, the director thought that was good. I guess we're going with it. But like, I don't know. Again, I don't know shit about the behind the scenes. That's just how it felt to me watching it. I was mostly not interested in this one. I thought the story was very intriguing, but they did not compel me with how they were telling it.
Hearing that he is a news writer is very telling of how the film it plays out. But I do like it. I think that I don't know. Can you agree with me that it's an important watch at the very least?
It isn't. I agree that the message and the subject matter is important.
Mm-hmm.
I would say instead of watching this 2-hour long film, just go out and read some articles about it.
Sure. Or even listen to Dr. Bennett O'Malley talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's something out
Find
there
an interview that the real life actor was in. Yeah. Or the real life actor.
The real life
doctor was a part of.
So let's move on. Yeah. King Richard.
Before we get to King Richard, our finale here, I just want to give you all give ourselves a shout out, give you all a heads up. You can head on down to patreon.com/Green and Faceless if you're willing to help us with the podcast monetarily.
Yeah.
We got plenty of good tiers, plenty of good merchandise with those tiers. So check it out.
Fun fan pick episodes, including right now we have a poll up for our next Monday playlist episodes. So if you want to check that out, have a say about what goes on our show, that we're doing that one to the public. You don't have to be a patron to participate in this vote. So come on down, Green Faceless on the couch. Oh, excuse me, patreon.com/Green and Faceless.
And so with that, let's get into some tennis with King Richard. Here we are, directed by Reynaldo Marcus Green and written by Zach Balan? Sorry, Zach. I sloppily wrote.
I would say Balan.
Okay.
It's Bayl.
I wrote it so sloppily. Yeah, I wrote it so sloppily that the L and the I kind of blend together, so it kind of looks like a U. So I was just like, I don't know if it's Balin or Bayan. Sorry, Zach, messed up your name there. My bad writing. Anyways, King Richard. Here's my experience with tennis, because we've talked our experience with sports before, the other ones with tennis. I have a lot of friends who love tennis. I watched it. I enjoy it. I understand the scoring system, so it's more enjoyable for me. I like the long game like that. The only individuals I have ever actively watched, and this is true, are Venus and Serena Williams, because they're just the fucking best at the game.
I think that's true for me too. And that's because my dad, for a short amount of time, really got into tennis. He got into tennis, though, because of Venus and Serena Williams.
Yeah, they're fucking badass to watch. Yeah. They're so damn amazing at what they do. And the only other tennis match that I remember watching is the one where Jodie Whittaker was announced as the doctor, because I knew the doctor was going to get announced during it. So I watched it because of that. I remember
you watching that. I remember you saying, hey, I'm going to go home and watch Wimbledon. Because...
Yeah. You're like, what? Why? But here we have the story of their father, Richard Williams, of course, played by Will Smith. That was the theme of this episode. Yep. He is, an arguably amazing man.
Yeah.
Because of he had him and his wife Brandy, played by Ingenue Ellis. I think Brandy was his wife. But she had 3 daughters, and then together they had Venus and Serena. Yes. And so he has this huge family. They live in a very small home to where all 5 daughters live in one or sleep in one bedroom.
In Compton.
In Compton, thank you. And it's a big thing about where they grew up, because the thing with Richard Williams is he had a plan. Mm-hmm. He always had a plan for what, his daughters were going to grow up and become the best damn tennis players of all time. He was certain of that. And, I don't know how much of this film is accurate, but given that Venus and Serena both were producers on the film, I think it's fair to say that it's
right. That
pretty
it's
accurate.
Fair. If it's not accurate, it is a love letter to their father.
Exactly. And he whenever him and his wife were not working, they were working on their kids. They had one daughter who they were just like, she's going to be a lawyer, she's going to be a doctor, and they're going to be the best tennis players of all fucking time. And he had a plan for all of his kids.
And the last one
with
can
Venus
do
and
whatever
Serena,
she wants. Wouldn't that be shitty if there was if your parents planned everything for your entire family except for one family, and you can do whatever you want.
And you know what? You're the renegade. You get to carve your own path. No, and with Venus and Serena, it meant playing tennis. But whenever he had the chance, he would take them out to this court area. It's on the grounds of a certain gang member. I don't remember his name at the beginning.
I don't remember the gang member's name either. But it's just, he calls it the club, but I think it is just a park, just a city park.
Well, it's just territory in his mind,
right? In the gangster's mind, yeah.
And Richard is having his daughters in his area playing tennis, and he's harassing one of Richard's stepdaughters, Tundi. Yeah, and because she's just studying, but he's over there. This individual is he's just harassing her. That's the short and sweet of it.
And she's only 16.
Richard's not having it. Richard's not having it. He tries to stick up for her, when they're all leaving. He's just like, please stop doing this. I've asked you many times, don't do this. And the guy beats the crap out of him. Mm-hmm. And, I guess he doesn't beat him up hard then, but he does punch him in front of his daughters. And
he pulled out, the shot that they gave was from a distance, but I think he had brass knuckles on.
Okay. Yeah, I think he did have that. I thought you were going to say he pulled out the gun. I was like, that's later. That's what ends up happening later is, And it's just, it's weird with that, because the thing with Richard Williams, he's a very determined man.
Yes.
Obviously, he has a plan. He's sticking to the plan. And he keeps going back to this court to practice, and I'm just like, oh my god, why would you do this? It's the only area he had to practice with his daughter, so I get it. But from the film's perspective, seeing what he went through with those people, I'm just like, man, I would be scared for my fucking life to go back there and to bring my daughters there too. But that's the kind of man he was. He was going to do everything he could to make them the best they could be, and that's what this film follows: is him taking them from being just under his guidance, to actually getting them a coach. Right. Eventually in the form of Rick Morris, amazingly played by John Barenthal.
Yeah, that's a good role for that guy. I did not.
Yeah. Oh my god!
It took me a minute. I was like, man, I feel like I know this guy. and then someone was
is that the Punisher?
Yeah, that's exactly it. I was like, Shane from The Walking Dead. What the fuck?
Right. It's a great fucking role. So that's the thing. This movie has the best acting of all 3 of the films that we've seen, because not only is Will Smith knocking it out of the park, so is John Barenthal. You have Sanaya Sidney playing Venus and Demi Singleton playing Serena. They're great.
Yeah.
It's I've talked to before. I don't like crapping on child actors. If you have a bad child actor, it's typically not the child's fault, it's the director's fault for not pulling forth a great performance.
Demi Singleton was Marcus
Green. Yeah, and I would just want to give Ronaldo Marcus Green a shout out because this is some great fucking directing. He pulled forth. I mean, I don't know how old Sydney or Singleton are, either of those two ladies, but they are young and they performed amazingly alongside Will Smith.
Yes, definitely.
So like, yeah, this all around the acting in this film is phenomenal, and it is so compelling. The only issue I had with it was the runtime because it's like 2 hours and 20 minutes or whatever.
Long. So yeah, I don't want to skip ahead in your telling of it, but when they get to the point where he pulls them out of juniors, and before they play again. That part is so long, but I think that it actually adds
3
to
years
the
too.
Yeah, because it feels as long
real.
as it did
what
for
happened.
real. Yeah, in real life.
Yeah, but it's just that part was definitely a slog because he talks John Barenthal, he talks Rick Morris into becoming their coach because they're just fucking good, obviously, and Rick Morris sees that. He sees they are a great talent.
I got Rick, like Mackey, like Macci.
Oh, it is, yeah. Again, I have bad handwriting. You're right, it is Rick Mackey.
Okay.
Yeah. I can't even read my own handwriting. That's how bad it is, folks. Yeah, Rick Mackey. Sorry, I've been saying that wrong the whole time. But he does take them on, and he talks the family into moving down to Florida where his athletics headquarters are. His complex. His tennis complex. He just turns them out. Yeah. And that's the thing. He gets them to Florida, and that's when Richard drops the ball on Rick. He's like, hey, just so you know, my kids are not going to be playing in the juniors tournaments. And Rick's like, that's the plan, Richard. You have to follow the plan. They can't become great if they're not playing anybody. But the problem is, Richard sees all the youth coming from tennis and seeing them burn out real fast.
Yeah.
They have a lot of talent, but by the time they're like 30, they're tired, they're bored of the game, and they're turning to things like drugs and stuff like that. He sees one in particular who is Rick Mackey's big star who just got arrested for marijuana. Mm-hmm. Uh-oh. That's not good. Richard pulls his kids out because he doesn't want them to turn into delinquents. He's fought so hard to keep them off the streets. He doesn't want them to burn out on tennis and go to the streets. So it adds to the story. I agree with you there, but it definitely does also add to the runtime because that's the part where I'm just like, no, get to the tournaments. I want to see her fight. I want to see her play.
It does when they finally get to that point where she gets to play professionally, like, which is kind of crazy to think about. That though every tournament she played, she won when she was doing juniors. So, I mean, if that's all it takes to be qualified, then she should play. But
and I do love not to say that she wins at the end. I don't want to give spoilers away for how the film ends, but this is another film that ends in placards and summaries at the end. And it pops up, with Venus's big stuff where it's like she's won so many of these, she's done this. She was the first black woman to be on top in tennis. I don't know the right terminology for it, but she was the first best of tennis to be a black woman. Wow. I said that completely opposite. It was a good moment where it's just like, she accomplished exactly what Richard Williams planned. And it's like, and Serena has won this and this and this and this. And it is just like at the very end, it's like she is widely considered by many to be the greatest tennis player there ever was. Yeah. Just like Richard planned. And it's really nice. It's a great moment. Yeah. And I fucking loved it when that happened because it's just like, look how amazing these two women are, what they've accomplished, not only for, they are just an inspiration for like young black women, black girls growing up. They're an inspiration for athletes. They're just crazy awesome. And I think this movie, like to go all the way back to Ali, where I thought Ali was really well done, but it wasn't presented with that oomph to give his character the legendary story that Muhammad Ali deserves. This film got it 100% right because you really do feel the legacy with these women. Mm-hmm. You do feel what their father pushed so hard for them to accomplish. And like it brings into a lot of it brings into focus a lot of the like the parental issues, like how hard should you push your kids? Right. Is it wrong to raise your kids like this?
That particular scene where that really comes into question, there's a neighbor that keeps on being like, you shouldn't push those kids like that. And she eventually calls CPS, and they're there when Richard and the two girls come home from training, and his monologue there is so good. Like that, he's like, that's my job. My job is to prepare them for the world so they don't end up on the streets. And I appreciated that so much. But like he is really hard on them, but at the same time, and I feel like this is what you're getting at, he does make sure that they're having a good time, that they're happy. Right. Like,
yeah, it's like he really tries to instill a humbleness and an enjoyment of others and of the game itself.
Every time in the movie, at least before he sent them out there, he told them to remember to have fun. Like, you know, and I feel like that's a very obvious like parent thing to say to your kids. But on that level of sports, it is not as common as you think. There's a lot of pressure from the parents on the children, and they do a very good job. And you see that
hardcore with everybody else.
Yeah, they do a really good job.
Yeah, because you'll be at the matches, and like Venus will be playing against some other lady, some other girl at the time, and you'll see her parent on the sideline just screaming, just like, "What? You're so like walking away. Call that out! It's an out! Cheat! Damn it!" And I love that because you definitely do see how some people make it a little too competitive, and I like that aspect. I mean, not to say that the Williams never got heated.
There's
a little bit,
like of like parents really pushing their kid into this sport that's very dangerous, though. That was kind of more of the angle they were playing.
Right. I don't know, this one I think nailed everything about it. It was a very fun movie. I really recommend King Richard. Of all three of these films, it wins for me. Wow. Because it nails everything about it. It's so much fun. I give it 3.5 stars. I like really enjoyed this film. The only problem I had was like the runtime's a little fucking long. Right. But damn, watching Will Smith in this role was phenomenal.
All three characters.
All the characters are great. But here is amazing. He has again been nominated for an Oscar. And I told you beforehand, I thought this was very hilarious. As we mentioned already, in 2001, he lost to Denzel Washington for Training Day, and now he's been nominated again. He lost. Ali. Will Smith was nominated for Ali, like I said, and here he's yet again been nominated, but so is Denzel Washington for Macbeth.
Yeah, which I don't know. I mean, it must be pretty good Shakespeare if he got nominated.
I'll bet. All right, I'll bet. I don't know who's gonna win. It's another rematch.
I'd love to watch.
This is I definitely have wanted to. It's just on Apple TV or Apple Plus or whatever it is.
We don't have.
I'm not paying for your shit, Apple,
right now. We don't have that one. But maybe if you join us at patreon.com/Green and Faceless, we could change that. Well, I give it a face. It's a really good movie. I'm not going to give it a face and a half, even though I will watch it again and get the warm feels and everything. And I just really appreciate everything it was trying to say about Richard and his family, and about Venus and Serena, and how there's just so many lessons you can learn in this movie. It's really good. There is something about Richard that is a little abrasive, and I think they do a good job with his wife, Brandy Williams. I think they do a good job with her pushing back on Richard sometimes. Because I think they call it King Richard because Richard can be manipulative. He can be also authoritative and a totalitarian. And right. Yes. And she points out that maybe he's not letting them move on because he's afraid to fail.
Yeah.
And he and that rings true to his ears. That's another thing I like about him is that when Brandy comes in and points out what he's doing wrong, he adjusts. Yeah. He's like, "You're right."
He hears her. Yeah.
Yes. I really appreciate that about his character.
I do too.
And so he's a complex man. But anyhow, that's what I want to say about the movie. Full Face movie. I think you're right. I think that like if you're going to take these three pretty decent movies, all very good performances by Will Smith, and put them in a movie rating machine, this one would come out on top.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
But I like the historical importance of, well, really all three of them, but the being during the civil rights movement, I really enjoy everything that's represented about that in Ali. And then in Concussion, I just think that that's an important thing that people should know about. So I feel like they're all important movies because there's just such good things in this movie that I already said, and I'm just rambling on and we're going over time so much. But thanks for hanging in there, Couch Potatoes.
Yeah, we really appreciate you guys listening. I hope you've had a good, or at least an informative Black History Month. Maybe you've learned something this year. I always love seeing, I've been like close to like just cutting off all my ties from social media and just be like, you know, fuck Facebook, fuck Snapchat, fuck Instagram. But like I haven't done it yet. But one of the things I enjoyed during Black History Month especially is just seeing all the people, like, you have a lot of people who just post, you know, Black people throughout history that you have not heard about yet. And I love reading about these people and being like, wow, that's an amazing story. When's that going to be made into the next movie? You know, like, I mean, like Hidden Figures, when that came out, I was just like, why haven't I heard of these three women?
Right. Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there. And
100% agree.
A lot of stories that we still have to tell. But
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Thanks for joining us here. And until Monday, I am the Green Traveler from Gorsh.
And, until Monday, I will be Blake Christ. Oh, shit.
Oh, shit.
I am the Faceless Leon. Safe travels and good night. Green and Faceless on the Couch is a proud production of Fiction Works 19. If you like the show, please show your support by rating and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. Like, follow, subscribe, wherever you might listen. We also now have a Patreon account. If you feel so inclined to support us in a financial manner, please become a patron by visiting patreon.com/greenandfaceless. You can also find more information about us on our Facebook account or on the FictionWorks 19 Instagram account. Thank you so much for listening.